powers. Nice Public Trust ready with a voter civic education ahead of by-elections. In other news, Zimbabwe's main opposition coalition denied meeting with a special envoy from South Africa. We have these plus many other stories. Stand by for the details. My name is Mwakiri Kaliande. President Lazarus Chakwera has been urged to undertake wide consultations before trimming his presidential powers. Upon ascending to the presidency, Chakwera openly declared his desire to trim presidential powers. Speaking to MIJ FM, youth rights campaigner Charles Kajuroweka, who is executive director of the Youth and Society, has urged President Chakwera to consult before deciding on which powers to get rid of. Kajuroweka has since proposed that the Malawi Law Commission should take charge of the exercise.
No, honestly, we are quite encouraged by the commitment by the leadership to review the powers. This is not a new debate. Well, I think as a country we've had this debate for a long time. You might recall that the 2007 constitutional review process had also touched on the same, and it is quite encouraging to see that the president is voluntarily taking this engagement forward, and we must commend the leadership for that direction. What will be more important is to ensure that there is a inclusive participation and engagement with different stakeholders, including the general public, in reviewing those powers. It is not just the president, and it should not just be at based on the benevolence of the president, but the president, as he has indicated his commitment, we must take that process, we must cultivate all that goodwill and allow the relevant institutions of this country to take us forward. We have in mind the Law Commission that if really, asked to facilitate that process is going to be much more credible. We appreciate the engagement of the Attorney General, but it has to be more important that we entrust this assignment in the hands of the Law Commission, and then the Law Commission, takes this process moving forward.
The voice of Charles Kajuroweka, YAS Executive Director. Nice Public Trust says it is in talks with MIJ over the forthcoming by-elections. MIJ is set to conduct by-elections in Ilongwe Northwest constituency, Mangochi West, and other constituencies that fell vacant due to various reasons. Speaking to MIJ FM, Nice Public Trust Executive Director Olen Mwaluonju said his organization is ready to embark on voter sensitization once MIJ sets date for the by-elections. According to Mwaluonju, currently NICE is doing general civic education on issues of human rights in order to instill a spirit of responsive citizenship.
We are underway in making consultations with the Malawi Electoral Commission so that they should give us the program for those by-elections in terms of the dates, so that we have to know the dates when these by-elections are going to take place. Based on their program, we can also program, because our role is to complement make his effort in voter mobilization. So once they have officially issued the program, the schedules, then we'll take it up from there. In terms of intensification, as of now, we're doing general civic education on people's rights, roles, responsibility, and right to participate in affairs of public that affects them. So issues of participation in electoral-related issues is one of those issues. Also, you are aware that with COVID, there are public health guidelines that the Minister of Health issued through the Presidential Task Force. We are also mindful that whatever we'll be doing if the schedules out, should be in conformity with those guidelines.
That's Olen Maluonju, NICE Executive Director. An appeal has gone out to government to consider putting in place measures aimed at cushioning the elderly in the wake of the newly enforced COVID-19 restrictions. The appeal follows government's decision to gazette new COVID-19 prevention laws, which among others has made it mandatory the wearing of face masks in public places. Speaking to MIJ FM, 65-year-old Tritus Nyirenda from Katawa Township in Mzuzu observed that with the new laws, the lives of the elderly are at risk.
We are very happy because on this time, as COVID is just rendering everywhere, we are able to know and to decide what to do at this time. And we are very happy because you have assisted us with these COVID, these masks, so that we should be free from this pandemic disease. In many ways, because we are used to get something from our relatives. But by now, as they are saying, we should not be visiting our parents. That means we are always in need of something, but we can't get it because of, as we are older people. Each and every time, if this disease is going higher, it means we are still starving. So we are appealing to these people that if they have got any idea on how to get and reach us as elders, we are here to appreciate each and everything which can be given to us.
That's Tritus Nyirenda, an elder from Katawa. Meanwhile, the community of St. Egidio, a charity organization under the Catholic, has embarked on a door-to-door campaign of distributing food and face masks to the elderly. Speaking to MIJ FM, Paul Ndovi, member of the community, said a lot of challenges the elderly are facing. There are a lot of challenges that the elderly are facing, hence their decision to embark on the exercise.
It's a campaign that I've just launched, at least I think last week. The aim is to help the vulnerable. These are the elders, as you have seen them here. They are the children we have that we visit, and we're also planning to help the prisoners. You know, with this pandemic, these marginalized people are being sidelined, are being not helped in many ways so that they can protect themselves from the virus. And then also, as many people are thinking of themselves to keep things for themselves, maybe lateness over lockdown or whatever that is there, you find that the elderly cannot also say anything to keep in their homes, to eat even at home. So we are calling upon people to join us, whether with face masks or even material things, so that we should be able to reach many people. The elderly are being looked at with a deaf eye. The elderly are the people that when many bad things happen, people tend to point at them that they are the one causing those problems. So with the pandemic, it has just added to the challenges that are already there. So it's indeed a very big problem in the societies.
That's the voice of Paul Ndovi, member of the community of St. Egidio. In a related development, human rights activists have expressed disappointment over government's delay to decongest the country's prisons amid increasing cases of COVID-19 within prison walls. Speaking to MIJ FM, Victor Muhango, Executive Director of the Center for Human Rights, Education, Advice and Assistance, CREA, said it is disappointing to note that despite calls to government to release some prisoners, authorities are taking time to act on the matter.
Our prisons now, they are not safe. Actually, we are worried with prisoners because we have been talking to the government, telling them that I think they should handle the prison issue with urgency. But we are disappointed that it's taking ages, so we are worried with the current situation now. Remember, we said that I think we wanted the government to actually make sure that they have tested all the prisoners in Malawi, but this is not happening. So that's our worry, because that is just one isolated case, but we know that we could have so many deaths. They're still calling on the government to test all the prisoners and all the prison members of staff, and also including the decongesting the prisons. this still remains our call.
Victor Muhango, Center for Human Rights, Education and Assistance Executive Director. You are listening to the Midday News Bulletin here on MIJ FM, and in other news, Zimbabwe's main opposition coalition said it had not been allowed to meet with a special envoy from South Africa, saying in response to mounting a crackdown on dissent. South Africa appointed 2 special envoys to go to neighboring Zimbabwe last week after authorities banned anti-government demonstrations and arrested around 20 protesters. The envoys met President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the ruling ZANU-PF party officials in the capital Harare yesterday. But the opposition Movement for Democratic Change Alliance, MDC, said it had been excluded from the meeting and unable to speak to the envoys during their visit. According to the coalition spokesperson, Fadzai Mahere, it is clear that Mnangagwa is not ready to resolve the national crisis through genuine dialogue. The banned protest, scheduled for Mnangagwa's 2-year election anniversary on the 31st of July, had been called to denounce Zimbabwe's crumbling economy and alleged state corruption. Well, that item concludes our Midday News Bulletin here on MIJ FM. But before we go, let's have a reminder of the top stories that we had this afternoon. President Lazarus Chakwera urged to consult before trimming presidential powers. Nice public trust ready with voter civic education ahead of by-elections. In other news, Zimbabwe's main opposition coalition denied meeting with a special envoy from South Africa. That is the bulletin. My name is Mwakiri Kaliande. Have a beautiful afternoon as you're keeping safe from COVID-19, and of course, continue listening to MIJ FM.